Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome back or welcome to the Voice of Reality, a podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I hope, as always, your day is as amazing as it can be in any sort of way possible. So, how have we all been feeling? I feel like it's been a hot minute since doing a full episode itself. It's actually only been a week, to be fair. But last week we obviously had the mini blitz episode, which I actually loved as well. And there was so much to obviously get from that, as it is a question that I get asked very, very frequently on vitamins and supplements. And I will do more of those episodes too, where I can break things down in a quick and simple form for you all, because sometimes I do get asked a lot of questions that I know I can break down a little bit more instead of just giving you one worded answers. So it was nice to be able to give that a full episode. And ever, as always, if you have any questions, fire away and let me know. Last week for me, I had a lot going on. I had to fly home for certain reasons, and I always find that flying and just changing my routine always has me upside down. Like I literally feel like someone has me hanging upside down, shaking me around. I feel like I'm on some sort of roller coaster, and I don't enjoy roller coasters. I don't enjoy change, so I didn't enjoy that last week for sure. But in all seriousness, when I'm not in my current routine, I always miss it so much, which is something I secretly love. I always say this to my clients too. When you go away, or you might have a weekend, an occasion, or even an event creeps up, and you're not completely in your routine, maybe for a few days, I always say how sometimes it's actually nice to miss your routine and nice to switch off, because you do realize how much you actually enjoy it then. You realize how much you enjoy the routine you currently have, training, food, nutrition, all of those things. And, you're nearly excited to get back to it, and you actually want to get back to it. And that's something that then, okay, I must be doing something right if I actually miss it and I enjoy it this much. So, yeah, sometimes I think it's nice to come out of your routine and to end up missing it and wanting to get back to it all. So, I have been slotting things back into place as much as I can anyway. And one thing that always helps me hugely is to actually get up and do it. Literally something as simple as that. When you actually are out of routine, or you're out of control of your current routine and what's going on, it is very hard to make sure that you're getting things back in place then after that. But honestly, the biggest tip that I can give you all is to simply get up and actually take action. And that is so simple, honestly. But a lot of people, I'll see it all of the time, will put it off and will keep saying, oh, tomorrow or next week, to wait until you get into the swing of things. And you kind of just keep pushing things off to the back and kind of just saying, oh, sure, it's the weekend now, so I'll just wait, or I'll start next Monday. You want to get back to it as soon as possible so that you don't lose sight of the goals that you actually have. And also so that your routine that you have created isn't slipping through any cracks, and obviously that you can get back to it as quick as possible. And also, obviously, the discipline you actually have created is coming into check. And it can definitely be challenged when you do kind of lose control a little bit, or your routine isn't as in place. But of course, that is up to you then to make sure that it's back on track. And you will be able to get this into place, practice that discipline more than ever before in these times. So yes, things have crept up, and things creep up for everyone, literally everyone. You might go on holidays. Sometimes things are way out of your control within your personal life, and you might just feel like things are upside down every now and again. But guess what? We can literally not control everything. We can only control what we can. And in times where things feel way out of sorts or are going astray, just take it day by day and control what you can, how you can. And you can always get back to it. Always. Never ever quit because of something small or a small bump in a road. There is no such thing as falling off track. It's just making sure you're willing to continue every time. So let's get into our Let's Be Real segment this week. This week's question is a good one because it's on the tip of everyone's tongue, I feel, and it's something that everyone thinks about. So this week's question is, my measurements are going down, but the scale weight is still the same. Do you have any advice on this? Absolutely. I have all of the all of the advice in the world for this. I feel like I have clients always coming to me with this kind of issue. I feel like people are always writing to me with this issue. And whenever I put up a question box, this issue does arise. So, one thing I will say is that body composition and body weight are very, very different things. Okay. So, your body composition and how you actually look, the shape of your body, your muscle mass to your body fat composition is very different to the body weight you actually carry on your body and the weight that the scales say is telling you. So, losing weight and losing body fat are also two very different things. Weight can be anything down to water, down to any liquids, going to the toilet, maybe any extra carbs, anything at all can be your actual body weight. But body fat is the actual body fat on your body. So obviously losing weight can literally be you losing some excess water, whereas losing body fat is you actually losing body fat that's on your body. So you optimally want to lose body fat, and that's so important. And that's why I say it's so important to always know that the scales might not be the most amazing dictator of your journey and most reliable kind of part of measuring your journey, because it doesn't actually tell you what you're losing. And also, as well as that, it doesn't tell you your body composition and how your body is looking and what's going on with regards to your physique. So, your body composition can be changing even if the scales isn't budging. A lot of the time, it might take a while for the scales to actually catch up as well. And if you are in a strict calorie deficit for a long period of time, then it should move, but it might not be the quickest response ever. And if you are just beginning, and muscle can be formed, especially as you like kind of do start and at the very, very beginning of it all, you have to remember that muscle does weigh more than body fat. So if you are starting to build muscle at the very beginning, it can weigh more than body fat. And that is not the end of the world. And that's why the scales might be the same, or sometimes it might even fluctuate upwards. But it is something that you do need to just monitor and measure and make sure is in control as best as possible. So I actually talk a lot about this in episode 3 of the podcast. But I will say that the scales itself isn't the best thing to always go off. And what I will say as well is that you don't have to lose weight in order for your body composition to change. It is so important to take photos and to take measurements. And a lot of the time, this will tell you more than any number on the scales will. It's obviously more important as well to see how your body is changing composition wise rather than just that number. So always know what you want to do is change how you look, change your shape, change your composition. Who cares about the number on the scales? Once your pictures and your measurements, as you've said, are changing, we're happy and we're going in the right direction as always. For me, for example, I might not lose any weight, to be honest, but I will see my body change an awful lot. I obviously have gained a lot more muscle, which will mean then that my body appears smaller. I will appear more toned, say, but the scales might not budge. And if I don't have a lot of excess body fat to lose, it might take a little bit longer. So if you are smaller and you don't have all of the body fat in the world to lose, the scales isn't going to drop drastically then with that, because obviously your body's going to hold on to whatever it can, and it doesn't necessarily want you to lose anymore. But this is where obviously building muscle will come into play, because what you want to do is change your body composition so you have more muscle than you do body fat. And when you are losing your body fat, your muscle is coming out and you're seeing this. I am very aware though that the more muscle mass I have, the more I will weigh. And that's absolutely fine with me. It's never a bad thing, as my entire body is still changing drastically and I still look very different, but my actual body weight might not change. And I'm okay with that. But please know that in episode 3, I explain a lot more about the scales and why it might be a huge reason that you quit, and why it actually might be holding you back. So have a look at episode 3. It is amazing to kind of go into a little bit deeper in the scales and what kind of goes on there. So, on this week's episode, we are going to chat about alcohol, the dreaded kind of topic. I do hate talking about this at the same time, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm like bad mouthing alcohol, because I still drink it every now and again. But I do think it needs to be chatted about just with regards to goals and with regards to the society that we do live in. It's something we all do, we all have around us, and we've all kind of grown up with, I would say. And we'll go into the facts that probably no one wants to hear, but the ones that we all do actually need to hear. So this topic is one I know will help so many of you all, not only to learn more, but to also realize what might be actually holding you back. We are going to chat about alcohol in our current kind of society and culture, and we will also chat about alcohol and your goals and the real reason that it might be affecting them. I'll also give you some tips and tricks as to how to control this in the best way possible. And as always, if you have ever any questions at the end or in between or anywhere that I am chatting away, just fire away. Just let me know. Get in contact on Instagram, anywhere you can find me, fire away with those questions. So let's get into it. Who here has ever felt like they've had no other choice but to drink on a night out or at an occasion, or even just a random day of the week because your friends are, or your family are, or maybe your work colleagues are, and they're asking you to drink, and there is a bit of peer pressure around it. So you do kind of just opt to say yes. I currently have my hands up as well because, same. There's been plenty of times where I would have been fine with not drinking or probably preferred to not drink. But in the society we live, it's not very easy to say no. And I absolutely agree with that. I hear and see it all of the time with my clients, how they feel so pressured to drink. And it's not until they actually change up their hobbies and priorities that they realize they never actually needed it in the first place. It's not until you find something more important to you than waking up hungover that you can actually be at peace with not drinking every weekend, because you know you've other things to do and goals that you want to get after. So, what tends to happen is alcohol just becomes irrelevant to your life. And I won't lie, it is a little bit of a tricky transition in life as well. So, I do think for everyone, there does come a time when goals become more important and more of a priority than going out every weekend and drinking every weekend. And that is absolutely fine as well. I don't know one person who hasn't gone through the kind of out every weekend, if not more, even every day of the week, then slowly getting bored of it. Finding a goal or maybe a hobby that doesn't involve drinking, and then slowly starting to move away from that actual kind of act of going out every weekend or every day or during the week um, to socialize and to kind of escape things. It always starts with being the social butterfly and trying to escape the world through alcohol and nights out. But then you find a new way to escape through something that can actually benefit you and better you. And your whole life starts to shift. But that shift and transition can be tough at times. And it can cause a lot of strain on relationships and on life choices and on people and environments around you, of course. For me personally, I know I changed a lot the more I got into training, and of course, becoming a PT on the gym floor itself, and then into the online coaching world as well. My whole life shifted, and one thing that was obviously being left behind was my session mod days. If you don't know what they are and what a session mod is, it's basically going out every weekend or on the weekdays up until 6 a.m. in some random kitchen and being hungover for days afterwards. And I never felt my best self in these days. And I'd always be asking, is this it? Is this all my life is going to be? Am I going to be just going out every weekend, getting drunk, and this was my way to escape things? I'd go out, I'd be hungover, and I'd repeat this cycle every single week. But I knew this wasn't helping me or my goals. And I needed to put a bit of a reroute on the maps. And not to mention, I was so fucking bored of going out and doing the same things all of the time, seeing the same people, and just being in the same place every single week. Now, I won't lie, COVID did help a bit with stopping all of this, of course. Nobody really had a choice. Everything was closed down, and we didn't really have anything else to do but to sit with ourselves and change things up. But even when things did start to open up slowly, I didn't really care as much about going out as I used to. And my life did start to slowly transition, and I started to kind of move away from the days of going out every single weekend. And for me personally, it was the best thing that I ever did for myself and for my goals. I'm a better me. I'm sharper for my clients. I'm happier and more energetic. And I've found hobbies that help my goals and don't put me on the back foot every single Monday, feeling groggy and anxious like alcohol used to. This, of course, can cause a slight impact on relationships and environments. And I know my friends were slightly confused as to what on earth was going on. I was always the first one out and about, the first one to try get everyone to be there. And I really was the most social of butterflies, and that I still am, to be honest. But it did take a while for my friends to come around to the fact that I didn't exactly enjoy what I used to enjoy, and that my goals came first now. And I know this is something so many people can struggle with or are afraid of. But please know, if your friends aren't supporting you and uplifting you with your own decisions, then they aren't exactly your friends. They may need some time to adjust, and that is fine, to the changes and, of course, to your decisions that you're making. But they should never be trying to tear you down or to steer you in different directions that will hinder your decisions. Which brings me on to the fact that a lot of us are genuinely out drinking and abusing alcohol out of the pure fact that we just want to people please. We just want to say yes as it's the easier option. And also, you do want to be social. You don't know what else to do. Everyone else is doing it, so why not? But I do promise you, there's other ways to see friends and people and to spend time with people around you, other than just going out to the nearest club and getting drunk. There's so many other things that you can do, and this is something I've learned hugely along the way. But if your environment is tearing you down and you're constantly in a bad place because of who or what you're surrounding yourself with, you may need to take a closer look at the environment you're putting yourself in, because this will not help you in the long run or your goals. I once read a quote before that literally said, if your only hobby is going out and getting drunk every week, then you need to find a new hobby. And how true is that? Like, literally, if the only thing you enjoy is getting drunk, I promise you, you are doing yourself a disservice, because there is 1000% something else out there that you would love to be doing or pursuing, and you're missing out on it and missing out on the things that you love because you just haven't found it yet because you're so distracted. Those goals that you want to get after, those ideas that you want to bring to life, they are not going to be on the other side of going out every weekend, getting drunk, and then obviously not feeling your best self the days after. I had a conversation as well with Amy on episode 4 of the podcast about this too. And it was mentioned how some people just don't know how to get out of the rut that they're currently in or out of the environment that they're in. And they just need to get out and find something new that they actually enjoy. But here's my tip: get up and get out there and just try. Start something new. Do something out of your comfort zone or that hobby that you've always wanted to do. A lot of the time, by making and creating goals and actually trying to better yourself is the first step. As you begin to realize that you can do and be more for you and everyone else around you, you'll never look back. So let's get into alcohol and our society. We do live in a society where drinking is just a done thing. And can I also just mention that alcohol isn't the devil? I'm not trying to blacklist this. Well, I know that it probably can be on a Sunday morning, but I do still enjoy some drinks out. I still enjoy a night out, and I absolutely love going out with my friends and dancing all night. But I am also very aware how this is abused and used for the worst of reasons in our current society. Alcohol seems to be just the norm, used to celebrate, have a good time, ruin your life, and just make some bad decisions, of course. And when you live in a society where it is everywhere, it's hard to escape it or to say no. And here's the thing: you don't need to say no to absolutely everything. I'm not saying to never drink again. If there's occasions that creep up, it's not the end of the world. And what we want to do today is to have a look at what actually happens when we drink alcohol, what it might do to our goals, and how we can actually help this or minimize it in any sort of way to help us as we go forward. As I've said, I'm not blacklisting this. I'm just simply trying to help anyone who's struggling out there and unable to navigate through it all with their goals obviously in sight. Alcohol induces euphoria, relaxation, and while it obviously reduces stress, it does give us a lot of anxiety at the same time. What alcohol actually does is stop the brain and body working hand in hand. Honestly, when you say that out loud, in simple forms, it is kind of scary. It actually stops the brain and body working together. While alcohol does make you feel more relaxed and give you that initial energy boost at the beginning of it all, it then slowly starts to make you feel more and more down. Alcohol is, in fact, a depressant drug. So, those anxious feelings and sadness the day after the night before, that's why. Alcohol is an actual depressant. Drinking alcohol isn't necessarily bad for you. I mean, let's be real. Nothing's bad for you unless it's obviously in enormous amounts and you are abusing it in extreme amounts. So it's not to say to never drink again. It's just to be mindful of what it is and what it's actually doing. So the real question is, does alcohol make you gain weight? And what does alcohol do when trying to actually lose weight and you're obviously maybe on a physique journey? Alcohol itself is an actual toxin. It's a chemical that goes into the metabolism, and then the metabolism is literally trying to get rid of it. Your body is literally focusing on nothing else but to get rid of this toxin. The body wants rid of the alcohol. So everything else is pushed aside, and the body won't be able to concentrate on anything for up to 72 hours. And as a result of this, fat burning will be put aside for up to 72 hours. So it can actually stop fat burn for this amount of time. Your body is under immense stress trying to get rid of this toxin. You can retain water, you'll feel bloated, and as well as that, it uses so much energy to try and get rid of all of this. The body's not burning fat, so you're not losing it. And this can be with any consumption of alcohol. It doesn't have to be like extreme amounts. Once it hits the metabolism, the body wants it straight back out. This is also why you'll feel so low in energy and so fatigued, because your body's literally working overtime to fix this problem. You'll also be dehydrated because the alcohol will obviously dehydrate you, your organs, your body. And now, kind of, let's go back to calories itself and bring that back into it. The calories you find in alcohol are extremely different to those that you would find in foods. They aren't the same as like your average protein, carbs, or fats. Alcohol is a whole calorie unit of its own and sometimes isn't the most accurate. So, when drinking alcohol, you are getting literally zero benefits from it. It is empty calories. There's no kind of feeling full, there's no protein, carbs, fats, energy, nothing like that. So, there's nothing satisfying or filling or anything that you would get from food, say, coming from alcohol itself. And this is why you'll always be starving when drinking or even after drinking alcohol. So, other effects that alcohol can have on us and that can affect our progress as well as we go is, of course, decision making. Let's think about it. We drink on a night out, say Saturday night, we go out, we drink with the girls, we have a great time. We wake up on Sunday, all of our decisions go to shit. We don't care about food, we don't care about going to the gym, we just want convenience, we want to lie in bed and rot away. And obviously, all of our decisions are hindered because of the night before and the alcohol that we have had. But as well as that, alcohol can have a huge effect on the brain, and you can feel groggy and foggy in general, so that your decisions are a lot poorer in general. It can obviously affect your sleeping pattern. It can keep you awake at night, more alert, and just have your sleeping pattern wound up. If you've ever kind of not been able to sleep after alcohol, or maybe you can only sleep for a few hours and then you're awake again, it is because your body is trying to get rid of this. It's working overtime, and it is in the bloodstream for up to 72 hours after drinking it as well. Your energy will, of course, be deflated. You have zero energy because your body is quite literally working overtime trying to get rid of this alcohol. So it doesn't care that you want to go and train or you want to go for a walk or you want to go and do nice things. All it cares about is trying to get rid of this toxin that you've put into it, and it's trying to get rid of that so that you can actually feel better again. You will feel severely dehydrated, okay? Everyone knows you wake up after a night out and you are gasping for that first sip of water. Let's be real, we all know how it feels when your literal mouth is like Gandhi's flip flop. You just want some water, you don't care where you get it from. And that is why alcohol does dehydrate you, and it has you feeling very fatigued because of this. Your appetite can fluctuate hugely. And as I said, obviously, if you are on a fat loss journey or any physique journey, your appetite will be hindered from alcohol and you will make poorer decisions. And I think we all kind of know this. We all know when we wake up the next day after the night of, our decisions are not what we want them to be. We are not thinking about the gym session, getting our steps in, getting our protein in, making sure our food's looking clean and good. the day after, the night before, because all we want to do is simply survive. So alcohol can 100% affect so many other things, not just your physique. It can obviously affect decision making, your sleep, your energy, your dehydration, your appetite, and your goals in general for the days after. So, as much as I'm saying we can still go out and enjoy ourselves, it's just important to minimize it and to keep it handled and in your control when you are on a physique journey or if you have any goals whatsoever. Because even if it has nothing got to do with how you look, if you want a job, if you want that kind of promotion, you want to study for an ace an exam, you want to make sure that you're feeling sharp. Alcohol is not going to do this for you. So, here are my tips and tricks when drinking or consuming alcohol that will help you, obviously, with your physique journey in itself, especially when it comes to fat loss. Okay. So, obviously, number one, we all know this, go for low calorie drinks such as kind of spirits. So, vodka, maybe gin. Normally, always say gin and vodka. 0 calorie mixers are going to be a lifesaver for you here. 0 calories, 0 sugar. We love them, and they are going to be amazing for obviously making sure that calories are kept to the bare minimum when you're on a night out. One thing I'll always say, if you drink wine, say, just opt for the one bottle of wine. You do not need that second bottle. I promise you that. I know myself, I drink wine when I go out, and I always make sure to keep it to one bottle, because as soon as I go on to the second, nothing good happens, but as well, it's never needed. And calories wise, it's definitely never needed. Minimize your drinks obviously as much as you can. So, any shots or any excess kind of drinks, just try to minimize that as much as possible. And I am so aware that I'm here chatting about all of this, and it's all well and good as you listen to this on your walk or training or wherever you're listening to this, maybe as you're driving around, and you're thinking, absolutely, I can do these things. But as soon as a sip of alcohol hits your lips, or you're on a night out, all of these things and these tips and tricks I've given you just leave your brain. And I'm so aware of that. So please, just if anything, keep your kind of mixers 0 calorie, keep your drinks to a minimum, and we'll be all good. And if you want to as well, you can incorporate them or set some calories aside for the day and put them into your MyFitnessPal so that you kind of know the amount of calories that you're going to have if you are going to have drinks. So say if you're going out with the girls and you want to add in 6 gin and tonics or 6 vodka, soda, water and limes, which is my fave, I do love that, or a bottle of wine, incorporate it into your MyFitnessPal that day so you know kind of the calories you're going to get. Now, the only thing I have mentioned is that obviously alcohol is very, very different when it comes to calories. They are empty calories. You're not getting any nutrients with them. You're not getting protein, carbs, fats. So they're very, very different. But it is still helpful to set some calories aside for it so you're not going way above board. Another thing that I would say if you are on a fat loss journey is to minimize your occasions as much as possible. If you go out every single weekend, maybe just cut this down to maybe 1 weekend a month or even 2 a month, and then keep cutting it down as much as you can. Because obviously, what I will say is if you are serious about your goals and obviously the fat loss goal itself, alcohol is going to hinder this and it's going to slow it down. Now, if you do go out every single weekend and you're okay with things moving slowly, that's fine. But if you have a very specific timeline and you want to lose a certain amount of body fat or a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time, you are going to have to opt out of some of the occasions and some of the weekends itself. That does include alcohol. Or you could go out and you could not drink. And I know that you're probably like, I could never. I used to think that about myself too, but I've gone on plenty of night outs where I haven't drank any alcohol, and I've actually probably had a better time because I remember it firstly. I don't wake up feeling sick, and it was just a good time dancing to good music with my friends. And yeah, you just enjoy it a little bit more, and you start to realize that you don't actually need alcohol. You're a good time without it. So definitely give that a try. If you are you still want to go to the occasions and the events, try it. Try not kind of drinking, maybe just having some energy drinks, Coke Zero, or having one drink as you get in there, because I know it's always nice to have something to hold in your hand. But yeah, you'd be pleasantly surprised. One thing I will also say, this is so important, do not get that takeaway. I literally beg of you to not get that takeaway at 3 a.m. because let's be real, everyone together. No one ever remembers the takeaway at 3 o'clock in the morning. No one ever remembers it. At the time, it is heaven. Like it's all you want. You will probably have about 3 chips, a chicken nugget, a slice of pizza, whatever you opt for, and you'll end up feeling sick because the grease and everything like that is just disgusting. What I have actually started to do is I'll always make sure that there's like bagels or something at home and I'll come in and make toast because I do think I need something to soak up the alcohol, but I don't need the big fat greasy pizza. I don't need the McDonald's. I don't need to go overboard. So please opt out of the takeaway at 3 a.m. or after the night out. You'll never remember it, and it is just wasted calories on a meal that you won't even enjoy. The next day as well, please make sure to get up and get your shit together, okay? Because one thing I will say is a lot of the time, a hangover can be a mindset and it can be a bit of a placebo effect. Now, some people genuinely get the worst hangovers on this earth, and I do feel really bad for you. I don't know how you drink because I know there's some people out there that do be vomiting and everything the day after. I honestly don't know how you drink knowing that that's going to happen, but other people do just feel kind of worse for wear and they're not kind of able, and sometimes it is a bit of a placebo effect, and genuinely you will feel worse lying in bed feeling sorry for yourself. So get up, get some fresh air, eat some good food, and do not make shitty decisions because of that night before. Enjoy the night out, enjoy these things, knowing that you're able to get back to it as much as you possibly can the next day. And that's one thing I will always say. It's not necessarily the alcohol on the night out or the alcohol at the occasion. It's what the alcohol does to your decision making the days after and your energy the days after. So you need to take control and do everything you can to make sure that it's not absolutely ruining the days after and the week after in itself. Do not hit the fuck it button, literally. So what I want to do here is I want you to think of these two options and see which one you would rather be. So here we have option one. It's now Sunday morning, the morning after the day before. You wake up and you say, do you know what? Fuck it. I've already done the damage, so I don't care. You have a big fat fry up. Who doesn't love one when you're hungover? You go to the fridge, you get some chocolate, you have some crisps and jellies. It's all amazing. You order the pizza and, of course, the full fat Coke because why not? You get some ice cream as well. You may as well go all out. You lie in bed all day feeling hungover and sorry for yourself. And then you feel sick with the amount of food you've eaten. But you were starving at the time and you're trying to literally get everything into your mouth as you could. Then digestion takes a huge hit here. And it has you feeling like shit. Excuse the pun, of course. On top of all of this, you're also feeling super anxious from all of the alcohol the night before, which is never a good time. And then Monday comes around. So Sunday is over. You've literally eaten yourself into a coma. You feel like shit. You've zero energy. And then Monday comes around. You don't bother going to the gym or prepping any food because obviously the day before you were so kind of lackadaisy, lying in bed all day, feeling sorry for yourself. So nothing's prepped. Your calories go astray and things start to slide as you opt for convenience. Obviously, there was nothing prepped, so you don't care. You're too tired to cook and you just do not want to train. So you're kind of like, do you know what? We'll start tomorrow. But then Tuesday comes along and now you feel even worse. You're more tired because you're trying to catch up on everything that you've obviously missed out on. And next thing you know, you hit that big fat button that says fuck it and you do not care about the rest of the week. Sure, I'll just start next Monday. Or you could be option number two, which is, of course, the one that we all want to be. It's now Sunday. It's the day after the night before. You wake up and you say, do you know what? I'm sick of feeling sorry for myself. I'm going to get out and I'm going to get some fresh air and I'm going to get my steps in. All of a sudden, you actually aren't as bad or as hungover as you thought you were. As I said, it's all a mindset and energy will create energy. So if you get up and do something, you will feel better. I promise you that. You have a nice high protein breakfast that will keep you full and actually give you energy for the day. You make sure you have all your 3 meals throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you actually enjoy them. You make meals that you actually enjoy. One thing I'll always say to do is to maybe prep a dinner for yourself the day before so that you know you get to enjoy that dinner. Set aside some calories for maybe a takeaway that you can make at home, or a dinner that you really enjoy, maybe a spaghetti bolognese, a chicken curry, a chili con carne, something that you love. So you actually are excited for it and you get to have it and enjoy it instead of the takeaway the day after. Maybe you'll even plan your week if you're feeling up to it and you're lucky and you're kind of have that little bit of extra energy. You'll plan out your Monday, you'll plan out your week, and you'll just be feeling good in yourself for making some good choices that day. Then it comes to Monday and you're feeling ready. You get your workout done. Maybe you're a little less energetic, but that's fine. There obviously is some alcohol still in your system, but you still got up and ticked your boxes. You made sure that nutrition was where it needed to be. You made sure you got your training in, your steps are looking good, and you feel amazing for it. And next thing you know, you're back in control and you're back in with the week being under your belt and where it needs to be. I sure know for myself what option I prefer, because whatever about feeling like shit the next day, it's when it starts to have a knock on effect into the entire week that's a major issue. And that is what happens. You go out on a night out on Saturday, on Sunday, you don't care and you opt to be lazy and to feel worse in yourself. You make wrong choices, you make bad decisions, and then the rest of the week takes a hit because you're trying to catch up on yourself and you didn't care on Sunday. If you actually make sure that the day after the night of, you're making some good choices and you're feeling better in yourself, I promise you the rest of the week will be in your control. So stop allowing alcohol to consume you, to consume your whole week, your life, and your progress. Your goals are more important than that. If you are listening to this podcast, then I do know you obviously are someone who's on their own journey, or maybe someone who would like to begin it or needs more information. So please never fear reaching out to me and asking any questions, as that's exactly what I am here for. I never want you to feel unheard or unseen. So let me leave you with this. In a world full of yes men and yes women, and a world full of people pleasers, don't forget to put yourself and your own goals first, and to say no when you need to and when you want to. Stop fearing the word no. Fearing missing out or fearing missing a night or two. If missing a night out means you're a step closer to your goals, then let me tell you this: you're not missing out on anything. And PPS, I'm not saying to never go out. I know I keep saying this, but if it doesn't align with your goals, it's okay to not want to. It's okay to minimize alcohol. It's okay to say no and to opt out of those occasions. Never fear it. For now, please know that if you ever have down days, or if there's ever doubts, and if you ever just feel like you don't believe in yourself, I'll always be over here believing in you. And I'm always over here rooting for you.